So Justin Trudeau has invoked emergency powers in Canada to deal with the truckers. Emergency powers are akin to martial law. Generally, emergency powers are only bestowed upon the government in times of war. So, are we to assume that Canada is at war with the truckers? That might be a stretch, but that's kind of the approach that they're taking. They want to freeze all of their assets. They don't want them to get any gas. It's illegal to honk a horn. All sorts of silliness. And why are they coming up with all of these? You guessed it, the big R, racism. All of these truckers are racist. There's been no arrests, there's been no rioting, there's been no fires, there's been no rapes, murders, nothing. These guys are clearing off sidewalks from snow. But because they disagree with the government, they're clearly racist. There's been reports of Confederate flags being flown, Confederate flags. So the symbol of the Confederate States of America is being waved around in Canada. Okay, all right, I guess that makes sense in some wacky liberal way. Swastikas are supposedly being sprayed all over the place. So all of a sudden, truckers who a year ago were our heroes are now horrible racists. I don't get the stretch. But, again, they're going against the current regime. They're going against the current narrative. So clearly and obviously, even a pea-brain like me, they have to be skinheads, the Klan, Nazis. That's obviously what they are. And I was so mistaken when I thought that there were people standing up for their rights. Boy, was I wrong. You know, much in the same way that I was wrong when I watched on the news riots in Portland when they would lay siege to the federal courthouse and on a daily basis try and set it on fire. I thought that was horrible. I was wrong. That was freedom-seeking, peaceful protesters who were outraged and wanted us to defund the police because of George Floyd. That was the narrative. That's what I was told, and I foolishly didn't believe it. I should have listened, you know, because it's such a great idea to defund the police. So, our elected representatives are speaking out against the protesters in Ottawa. But yet, somehow, our vice president, or current vice president, was on Twitter raising funds to bail out people who were arrested during the riots that took place all over our country. So, rioting, burning, bad, parking, honking horns, rioting, setting fires, murdering, pillaging, looting, that's good. That's peaceful protest. Parking and beeping your horn is violent, a threat to society, and needs to result in martial law. Where's the sense in that? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. How about we really look at what's going on here? This is the left holding on to their power. That's all it is. The science didn't change. The mask mandates didn't work. The injections that they want everybody to take are being forced on us. I don't remember anybody forcing me or telling me I couldn't work if I didn't have the chickenpox vaccine. I said the V word, so now everybody's going to be up in arms. I'm not anti-vax. I mean, that's ridiculous. What I am anti is being forced to do things. You know, to quote the great Randy Marsh, thought this was America. I talk about my civil rights, my personal liberty, and Joe Biden scoffs at the very notion that if I were to choose to do something of my own free will, that's wrong. I don't get it. I'm struggling today with the ideas that what's good is bad and what's bad is good, and how we are supposed to blindly and obediently follow the directions of our government, period. We're not supposed to question it. If we do, it's misinformation, disinformation, until they say it's not. We can do our own research as long as we use their approved research points. We can come to our own conclusions as long as they're the approved conclusions. And we're not allowed to talk about it unless we get censored. If I share a funny meme on Facebook or something that I think is funny, but it might contain, it says 1 million people instead of 999,099, it's partly false information, and I get a strike, and my posts get put to the bottom of the list so that other people aren't given this misinformation. It's censorship, plain and simple. What happened to freedom of speech? Facebook is not a publisher. Facebook has no reason to be editing and fact-checking me. I'm not writing a textbook. I'm writing a stupid meme. I'm expressing my opinion, or I'm sharing something that I think is funny. But it goes against the accepted I'm trying to drive and talk at the same time. I'm going against the accepted narrative. I'm saying something that could call into question our glorious leader and our glorious leader's desires and plans for our once great nation. Heating oil in Massachusetts is $3.79 a gallon right now, $3.79, with the expectation that it could be as high as $7 a gallon in the near to distant future. $7 a gallon. We were oil independent a year ago. What has changed? Why are gas prices so damn high? We shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. Why? Why did we shut that down? What was the point in that? Because the environmentalists wanted it so? I don't know. I don't fault somebody for wanting to protect the environment, but you can't do it at the detriment of society. You know, the existential crisis that is global warming is the reason that they use for shutting down the pipeline, for stopping fracking. These are the very same things that made us so energy independent. We didn't end up energy independent by accident. There were steps taken that got us to this point. Those steps led to our energy independence, led to low gas prices, led to low heating prices. Now, with double-digit inflation, they're through the roof. How soon before our government decides that they need to take emergency powers and impose lockdowns on us again? How soon? Trudeau wants to seize the truckers' bank accounts. How soon before Biden wants to do that with the United States? We're over in the Ukraine, securing their border, Our border is open. Half the population of Haiti is landing on boats in Florida, and that's okay. But Putin has troops close to the Ukrainian border, and by Jiminy, we got to stop that. What happened to taking care of our country first? Charity is great, helping other people is great, but you've got to make sure that everything is good in your own home first. I can't donate food to somebody else if my family is hungry. It's just common sense. I need to take care of my own before I can take care of others. I can't do it at the expense of my own. So we're going to weaken our southern border. We're going to have an influx of illegal immigrants, but we're going to fortify and add our military people to the Ukrainian border. Why? What common sense does that make? What is the thought process behind that? It makes me wonder, and it should make you wonder. It should make us all pause for a second and say, is this because of the Biden's involvement in the Ukraine? Business involvement in the Ukraine. Joe Biden's brother and his son are heavily invested in Ukrainian energy. Joe tried to get the the Attorney General of the Ukraine fired because he was investigating Hunter and I forget his brother's name, Joe Biden's brother's name. So, does that have anything to do with it? Could it? Boy, I don't know. But it sure does seem pretty obvious. It's walking like a duck, it's quacking like a duck. It's a fair bet it is a duck. So while our leaders continue on doing whatever it is that they want to do to hold on to their power, we, the American people, get to suffer. The Canadians get to suffer. The people of the world who are under the thumb of these governments who continue to impose all of these mandates, which are not laws, by the way, to keep their power. Which makes me think, in the end, none of this was about the pandemic. This was all about power. Always was, and it always will be. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this is what we're going to be faced with, unless we do something about it. And we need to do something about it. We need to stand up. We need to say, I've had enough. We're done. Stop it. That I think is the one thing that we should all look at with the protests in Ottawa. When we all stand together, we can make change. If we stand as individuals, we're very easy to silence. We're very easy to ignore. But when we stand strong en masse, they can't ignore us. And that's what we have to remember. But we also have to do it in the same way that Gandhi did in India. Civil disobedience. It's not violent. It's not rioting. It's not hurting people. It's just not doing what they're telling us to do. It's taking back our civil liberties, our personal freedoms. They can scoff all they want, but those are ours. And we need to remember that. So that's it. That's my rant for today. That's my meandering thoughts. Hopefully I stayed on point. Like, subscribe, share, tell people about it. I am trying to grow this. It's obvious. I'd like to see it turn into something where, people get to hear my moronic thoughts. And just maybe there's somebody out there that agrees with me. Have a good day.